Okay. So let's continue with the decision.
Let's
So we have the if aspect. So if a condition is true, or based on the condition that you give it, it should perform a task. Else, if it is in another section, it should form another task. And the last, we have the last one to be the else. So if the statements does not correspond to the first one, the next one, then the else part will execute. So I can say that I want to go out and buy food. So if I move out and I get porridge, sorry. So if I go out and I get porridge, I'll buy. Else, if I get kinky, else if I get kinky, I'll buy. So if I don't get the porridge and I don't get the kinky, I'll come back home without buying the food. So please, if you understand how the flow is,
but can you explain the else if again?
okay, okay. I was using a scenario to
Mm,
explain that if I move out and I get porridge, so that's the first condition. If I get porridge, I'll buy. So meaning my main aim is that if I get porridge, I'll buy. So I'll regard this part. I'll disregard this part. So if I don't get the porridge and I get kinky, so that's the else if part,
mhm,
I'll buy. So I'll first search for porridge. If I don't get the porridge, then I'll move to the kinky.
mm.
And so if I don't get porridge and I don't get kinky, I'll come back home. That's the else part.
Okay, it's clear.
You put them into practice. So, so we have the if, and we have the switch and the case for the decision making. So we have the switch. So the switch also moves with case, and we have the default like this. So the switch and the switch case, this it always works like this. Let's try to. So I first get a value for here, and I'll try to compare using the case to compare if it's match a certain value, then I'll execute a code of block. I'll perform like this. So if it doesn't match the first one, then I'll move to the next one, something like this. So where I brought the one and two is what you want to compare. So if so, a typical example that I can show is that when you are trying to buy a bundle with a phone, we dial the code and it gives us a menu. Maybe one, um, buy a bundle for social media. Two, use pay as you go. Then you enter one to select the first option. So you can use case one, then meaning the person wants to buy um, a social media package bundle. Then you execute a certain code of block. Else, that's the case two. We move to the next option. Then that one to we perform a code we execute a code of block. So if the value that the person entered does not match the first one, the second one, then default. So default means if it does not match the first one, the second one, then by default, what should you do? So you can also write a code of blocks here. So let's try to give an example. Okay. Okay. So let me use the first one. So I can say if variable a, so this is the first condition. So we write it by using if, then the condition like this. Then we come to the else, then the condition, then the last part, else, then like this. So this is the structure, but we can take off these two. You can take it out depending on how you want your system to work. So we can do it like this. Maybe the first, let's take the first condition. So if A is equal to 10, then we want to perform a certain code of blocks. We want a certain code of blocks to execute. So echo that maybe um let me do it something like this. Okay, let's do some comparison. If A is less than 10,
If A is less than 10,
then we can say that we can display that
say that
variable A is less than 10, like this. Else, if variable A is less than or equal to, so you can see that I am bringing the operators. I'm using operators here. The less than or equal to maybe 20. Then I can say echo variable A um, is less than or equal to 20. Else, so meaning if it are not, it's not less than 10 and it's not less than or equal to 10. Else, that is the else part. So else, we can say that we should display that variable A is greater than greater than 20, like this. So I would like to save and let's try to analyze this condition. So we have our variable A to be here. So we have variable A to be 20. And we are doing a decision based on certain criteria. So this is the condition. I said the first, if A is less than 10, if A is less than 10, then we want to display that the variable A is less than 10. Then we came to the else if. So we can have multiple else if. So we have else if the variable a is less than or equal to 20. So meaning that if it does not falls within the first condition, it should check if it falls in the second condition. If it falls within the second condition, then we should display variable a is less than or equal to 20. Else, so if that not falls in the first condition, second condition, then it should display that the variable a is greater than 20. So let me save it, refresh my browser, and let's
So
see
in
the
this
app.
case,
So we have
yeah,
variable a is less
yeah,
than or equal to 20 because our variable a is 20. So now let me change it and say 3. Variable a is now 3. Let's run our code.
first condition.
So I have variable a is less than 10 because 3 is less than 10. Assuming I have variable a to be exactly 10, the condition said if a is less than 10, so it will display this information only if a is less than 10. And the second condition is if a is less than or equal to 20. So meaning our answer, our condition is true in the second part of the condition.
Yes,
So I'll save it. So variable a is less than or equal to 20. Please hope you understand the if and else how it works. So we can even add more if else if. So I can add another else if here. So if variable a maybe is less than or equal to 30, then I'll perform a certain task here. So for the else if we can have quite number of it. But for the if, we can only have one if within a condition and only one else. And also we have something called the nested loop or the nested condition. So we can have if within if. Please hope you understand.
yes,
So inside this first condition, we can have another if inside this first condition. So the second condition will execute when the first one is true. So if where a is less than 10, then it should execute this code. Then we also have another if. So we can also check if a um, is also less than 5, then we can also give a condition inside, and we can also bring the else if also here, just as we did for the first one. Please hope you understand.
so it means that when it will first check if a is less than 10. If
Yeah,
that condition is true, then to jump inside if a is less than 5.
5. That's it.
Okay. So if the first condition is false, then to go straight to
Straight
the
to the
F.
second else part to check if it is true.
um,
So if it doesn't satisfy the first one and the second one, then the last aspect, that's the else part, will execute.
then
Please hope If all understand what we are saying.
Yes.
Yes.
So let me ask one question.
Okay, you can ask.
Can you also happen that after the if statement, the first one, the second if statement, then all the other one will be under inside the if statement again, like the bracket come here, the if
This one.
bracket, uh-huh,
Mhm.
where you can also put all the other conditions inside it. Is it
Yeah.
that way? Okay.
So even within this if, we can even do another if inside.
Oh, okay.
So we can have
Oh, okay.
if within ifs several times. So this
Mm,
one is called the nested if.
okay.
So let's
Hello.
hello.
I also want to ask,
Okay.
where is, let's say, less than 10 or less than or equal to 20? Can that statement also come outside for the person to enter before it execute and give us the answer? Because because all we have here is in the code,
Yeah,
and
that is
we
where
only see the results at that.
that is where HTML comes in. So we can have a
Okay.
form or we can have a button that in which when the person click, or let's say for example you have a form and you want the person to input something. So we can check for the what the user input, and based on certain conditions, we can give the person a reply. So let me take this one off, and let me try to. This is not part of our code, but for practicing, I'll create a certain form and I'll try to submit it to this page for us to know how it works. So instead of us giving it a fixed
Okay.
value, we can have a dynamic input. So I'll take this one to off, then I'll create an ATM and create a form here. So, I'll create a form here. Mm, mm, mm. Sorry. I, and okay. Mm, okay, so I have um, a simple form. I have a simple form here. So okay, Okay, so let me try to save it. Then let's have a look. Okay, then coming. Let me create. Okay, so okay, so please, hope you can see this is the form that I created. Please hope you can see.
Yeah.
Okay, so when the person enter any information in the form, um, I'll take the value here. So let's say this is my A, and I assign my. Pardon me, we've not gotten to this part. So okay, so now um, we want to use the condition. So one, we want to check. So if, so we can check if A is less than 10 as we did earlier on. So we can say um, the number you entered is less than 10. So I like to copy the same information, then move to the else part. So else if A is less than or equal to 20, then we can say the number you entered is less than or equal to is or equal to 20. Then let's have the look to the last part, that's the else part. Sorry. So the else part. So we can see that the number is greater than um 20. So number is greater than 20. Greater than 20. So I want to execute this little piece of code for us to see. So let me refresh. So, oh, sorry, line two, I have an error. Check. Okay. This information is executed. Let me first do something. So I'm doing another condition. This is another condition. So set. Okay. So I'll copy out the condition. So I'll copy out the condition. So as you can see, this one too is a condition. So I'll paste it inside. Okay. So let me save. So undefined list. Um, so another condition. Okay. So so let me try to copy this information inside again. Cut. I'll paste inside this. Yes. Okay. Save it. Let me try to refresh. Okay. So now we can enter any value in this form. So I can decide to enter 11, then press send. So we have the number you entered is less than or equal to 20. Please, was this um, the sample of how you wanted it to work? So we have a form that's
Yes,
okay. So we
that
can
is
have,
what I asked.
so the user can enter maybe 56, then send. The number you entered is greater than 20. You've not gotten to that, but that's why I've always assigning a
Okay,
value to the variable that I created.
okay, understood.
Right, so we can use it in our information. Okay. So let's move on to the case. So we can use the same information here for the case. So as for the case, we have um, our variable, which is the A. Then we use switch, switch, then our variable A. So case, we can use something like days of the week to do. So we can say, so case, what the information or let's say if you have, let's take we want the days of the week. So case the user enters let's say Monday. If the user enter Monday, what do you want us to do? So maybe you want to display um, today is Monday. Then we will stop. Meaning we won't continue with the execution, so we will stop. We will break here. So in case the person types um, Tuesday, Tuesday, so we can display the same information. Echo today is Tuesday. So let me do it. for Wednesday and maybe Thursday. So case Wednesday. So we can also display that um, today is Wednesday. Right? So if the information that the person entered is does not match this one, and also does not match this one, and again this one, then by default, what do we expect, or what do you want to tell the person, or what kind of code, what code of block that you want to execute? So you can try to display something or information to the user. So um, you can say that um, maybe um, this is not part of our maybe working days like this. Mm. Okay, so let me try to make some changes from my form. So let me do the text another, and let me refresh. Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so okay, sorry. So maybe the day of the week. Okay, so the person can type maybe Wednesday, then send. So today is Wednesday. We have today is Wednesday. The person can type maybe Tuesday, then send. So we have today is Tuesday being displayed. So if the person enters a different thing from maybe like Friday, so this is not part of our working days. So this is how the switch in the case also works. Please hope you understand. Is there any
Want to
question?
ask a question?
Okay.
Yeah. The if statement and the switch. Are there some conditions where you are obliged to use only switch or if else statement?
Yeah, it's a decision. You want to make a decision based on certain information or certain criteria. So let's look at something from my code. First, I made a certain condition. So first, if server, dollar underscore server, so a variable server request method is equal to post. So um, I have this um, so meaning if I click on it, I submit the form and the request method is equal to post. I don't know if you've done a little bit of HTML. So if the request method is post, then let's execute what is inside it, else do nothing. So it's the first condition that I made. And inside that condition, I also make another condition. If it's set, meaning if we have a value inside this variable. We've assigned a variable to this variable A, then it should perform the task inside it. So all these are conditions. So if it does not match the first one, meaning it won't come inside the second condition. Please hope you understand. So the information to satisfy this first condition, then second condition, in order to perform this third condition that we have here, which is the switch. Please hope you understand.
Yes.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
I have a, So the case condition, can we also use the less than or greater than, like what we did in the if
Yeah.
for the case also?
Yes.
Okay. So at what point in time do we use the case or the if?
So let's look at something. From this um, if and a string that we did today, you can see that you can use the if statement to perform the same task that we did right now with a switch. We can use if.
Okay.
So we can say if variable A is equal to Monday, then maybe you will display this information. Else, if variable A is equal to Tuesday, then you display today is Tuesday. Else, if it's equal to Wednesday, then you echo today is Wednesday. Else, that's the last part. Echo, this is not part of our working days. So it depends on how you want to use it.
Okay. Okay.
Depends on you,
Understood.
the programmer. Please, is there any other question? Is there any other question?
No.
No,
Okay.
please.
So I think um, we are through for today. If God willing, tomorrow we will learn about loops. We will learn about loops. So from the loop, we can do much and greater things with it, with these conditions. We can do much more. So in PHP, depends on conditions and then the loops, how you understand and how you can implement the operators. So we can see we have this to be part of operators. So how you can use them, we have the assign operator here. This is not part of the operators, but this one checks to see if we have a value inside, we've assigned a value to our variable A. So we have been implementing what we've done